Well, I'm feeling kind of chatty today, so I thought I'd make a quick video, talk about some observations. I did a first impressions video already. These are just some other things I just kind of noticed. So I'll just give you the quick list of what I want to talk about. So, is English spoken here? The expats, rent, consumer goods, food, and money again, from a different angle. So, in terms of English, many people here speak English. So English is not a problem. One thing you should know is that in Southeast Asia, in general, it's like each country speaks a different language. So the common language is English in terms of different Asians talking to each other. Same with Europeans when they come over here. You know, the common language is English in order to get things done. So English is not a problem. You're gonna find English spoken well in the big cities, and then as soon as you leave the big city, it just drops off. But I would say English is pretty good here. I don't know if it's better than in Bangkok, but it's pretty good. I haven't pulled out my translator app once, so that's a good indication right there in terms of English. If they don't know how to speak it, somebody next to them knows how, and then they just kind of refer them to you. I've even cold called a few people when I was looking for apartments, and they all spoke English, so I was surprised. Everything's all good there, so that's kind of a nice thing. And then the expats. So what's nice is that this city is not overrun with expats. What's also nice is that you don't have the same type of expat that you see in Thailand. I don't want to stereotype what you see in Thailand, you probably already know. But here it's an interesting mix of, you know, older folks, maybe older couples and stuff that have kind of retired and wanted to settle down, and then you have like the younger ones, because there's like a big, I don't know if I want to say, yeah, I guess backpacker community. There's a lot of hostels and all that stuff here. People are taking little adventure trips around, and so I guess a lot of people who come here to do that, some of them end up staying. So I see a lot of younger expats here, and I could probably make another video on the type of personality you need to be an expat and be happy here. So I'll save that for another video. But yeah, it's a different caliber of expat. And then rents. So let's talk about rent. So I've been kind of like apartment shopping, looking around, and it's come down to like 3 categories. So if you want like a really nice, and so everything I'm saying is related to Western standards in terms of what you can expect. So if you want like a actually nice apartment, you're looking at $350, $400 in that price range. Of course it could go up from there, but $350, $400 could get you a really nice 1-bedroom apartment. And you know, it'll have all the amenities except for maybe a swimming pool. A lot of these places don't have swimming pools. The hotels do, but the apartments, not too many. Some of them do. So if that's important to you, then I'm sure you can find it. So like $350, $400. And then if you want like something in the middle, that's good enough, that's still decent, still very good quality, I would say $200, $250. And then below that, you could actually find stuff for like $150, even $80. So I was talking to this one guy, and he's like, he was just another young guy who was kind of like looking for apartments around here, and he's like, oh, my cousin lives over here and he's only paying $80. And I'm like, well, what does it look like? And he's like, well, it's a small room, you got a bed, a desk, a bathroom, and a fan. No AC. So I don't know if I could survive here in Siem Reap with no AC and just a fan. So that's completely out. But I have seen a really nice apartment unit for $120, $150, $160. I have also seen that are pretty good. So those are tempting. The ones that are like $150, $160, because they're definitely not as nice as like what you get for $200, $250. But if you're the kind of person who just like wants a place to sleep, put your clothes down, you spend most of the time outdoors, or you know, you don't need all the bells and whistles, the 150, 160 units don't look too bad. But if you want, you know, more of what you're used to back home in the US or in Europe or whatever, minimum is going to be 200 in terms of the quality of the apartment. So just know that. I mean, if you have the money to spend, do the 350, 400 unit. If you want to be on a budget, you could definitely be super happy at 200. And if you're really pinching pennies, do the 150. Anyways, all right, so consumer goods. Now, this one's interesting because you probably already know there's a little bit of a conflict between Thailand and Cambodia. So Cambodia has kind of like boycotted all Thailand products, which is a little bit of a shame because there's a lot of good stuff from Thailand that gets imported here. And there's a big manufacturing base in Thailand, so they make a lot of products. And when I was living in Bangkok, there's tons of Thai products that are just as good as, you know, anything that you buy at the local drugstore or pharmacy or Walmart or whatever. So they make all their own goods. There's not that much of that happening here. So what they do, since they cut them off, is they just import from other neighbors. So they're gonna get stuff from like Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore, Korea, Japan. So you're gonna see a lot of stuff that you're not familiar with, especially if you live in Thailand for a long time. You're gonna kind of like look for equivalents. But there's that. And also, so I hate to break it to you, if you like going to big shopping malls, especially like when you're in Bangkok, they're almost like 7-Eleven. Every kilometer or so there's going to be like a huge super mall. But here in Siem Reap there's no malls. I think that maybe there's kind of like one really small one or somewhere around here, but I haven't seen it. But there's no malls. It's just not like that. You have a lot of shops on the street, and you have like the night markets. And just so you know, with the night markets, it's all like, so I don't know if I'll show you guys around one day of the night markets, but it's like every booth is selling the exact same thing. I hate to say it. But I mean, they all have the same shirts, the same t-shirts, the same shoes, the same bags, the same everything. So it's tough, you know. And they have a lot of like Chinese knockoffs that they sell here. So if you're comfortable with that, you're in heaven, because they got tons of them. If you like, you know, Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, Polo, they've got it all. So yeah, I mean, I had to buy a new pair of sneakers, and it's like, well, there's definitely nothing name brand here. They have name brand knockoffs. So I'm looking at some of the name brand knockoffs, and some of like the shoes are like 25 bucks, $40. But yeah, I mean, you just have to adapt. You know, if you're gonna be here, you have to adapt. You have to just choose from what's available and make the most of it. So that's the attitude you need to have. All right, let's see what else we got here. Food. So I already talked about this in the first impressions a little bit, but I got another angle for you. Hopefully I don't do too much information on this, but the quality of the food, like I said before, is really good. But there's something else that I've noticed, and other people have noticed this too, like in terms of other parts of Asia where people are getting fatter. And like, you know, there was a time when I was eating all the food back in Thailand, and I was kind of starting to get a little, I don't want to say constipated, but I would definitely need to take some fiber and stuff to just be regular. I don't know, something's going on. But so what I'm trying to say is this. I have a sneaking suspicion that GMO food is making its way into Asia, in terms of, you know, seeds and all that stuff. And it's affecting people's health. Because I'm seeing, you know, the women, if you go on the dating apps, if you were here like 10 years ago, you know, you saw a lot of slim young ladies. And then now it's like you're starting to see more women that are overweight. Good news, here in Cambodia I don't see that. But back to what I was saying about the food, I actually think it's a little bit cleaner, a little healthier. I have a feeling that GMO stuff is not here, because I've never been as regular as I've been eating here. My health feels a lot better. I don't feel an inflammation in my body. I'm definitely not constipated at all. And I'm sticking to, you know, the major restaurants. I'm not really eating any street food and stuff because I don't want to risk getting any, you know, kind of food poisoning or diarrhea or whatever. I'm not saying that there is. I mean, I've heard that there is sometimes, but you know, just play it safe and eat at good places. And I haven't had any issues at all since I've been here. But what I'm trying to say is that I don't think the GMO stuff is here. And that's really good. That's really, really good. All right, I'll just leave it at that. And then let's see what else. Money. So I talked a little bit about money before too. So I'm used to, I'm a fan of cash, and I'm used to paying in cash. And I was at first thinking, you know, this is great. You know, they don't really have a bunch of coins here. Everybody, everything's broken down into smaller bills, pretty much. But I mean, I'll leave my room with like a wad of cash, and I have to like double check myself that I have enough money to actually pay for whatever I'm gonna pay. It's like you feel richer than you are. I got some folks coming by here, so hold on. But anyways, right now I'm at the top, or on the hotel rooftop. I can give you a view. So you can see the cityscape is quite different than in Bangkok. There's really no condo towers here. They're not allowed. From what I heard, the buildings cannot be taller than Angkor Wat. So yeah, you have a different scene. So I'll finish up with the money. You'll leave the house with a wad of cash thinking you have money, and you don't. So it plays with your head, because you have all these bills in your pocket, and when you add them up, they don't add up to that much. It'll be easier if you use like a banking app. Oh yeah, and I wanted to tie that in too. There's actually a tourist banking app, or a tourist payment app. I saw it. You could get it at the airport. You could download it and top it up at any of the money exchange places or banks. When I went to the exchange, she said for $100 they'll charge me like 90 cents to top up. I could do up to 500 for $1.50 to top it up. I don't know. Like I told you before, you could exchange your $100 bill for a quarter and get 400,000 real back in local currency. But if you don't want to do the math game and all that stuff, the tourist app gives you your balance in both US dollars and in real, and you just pay. Because I didn't mention this, like all the menus, all the prices that people will talk about here are all in dollars. They're not in real. That's what I meant about you having to do your math when you're making a payment. But the app, you just scan the QR code, just like in Southeast Asia. A lot of the places you pay with QR. You know, you'll scan the vendor's QR, you put in the amount and hit send, and it says success, fail, whatever, and they got their payment. But that's it from me for now. Like I said, maybe I'll make a video, I probably will, on the type of personality you need to live here if you want to be a long-term expat. Because it's definitely different. You know, you see a lot of videos saying, oh, the cost of living is like this, you know, and it's very appealing, it's affordable. But if you don't have the right personality for what the environment is actually like, you won't be happy. You will be happy if you do have the right personality. Like for me, I could probably fit into this and I'd be fine. But I could totally see someone who's materialistic, needs their name brand stuff, you know, is used to buying everything on Amazon. You won't survive here. So just letting you know. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.